This is Stryker of Enyo, and you stumbled upon my Jager guide. That's right, Rainbow Six Siege. This is the operator profile for Jager. Everything you wanted to know about him in a really short amount of time. So let's get going. Jager is quite possibly, well, he is easily the best defensive roamer in the game, because he's the only one that has a assault rifle as his main primary weapon on the defensive side. Everyone else has submachine guns that use pistol ammunition, and Jager is the only one that can go toe-to-toe. He has the longest engagement range because of that as well. He also has 1 armor and 3 speed. So that basically means he's meant to be a roamer. He can't stand in a frontal assault. He can't take enough damage, so he needs to be on the move. You need to use guerrilla tactics, stick and move, do damage to enemies, get a kill if you can, and then retreat. You are not meant to be on the front line attacking or the front line defending. You just can't take enough damage. So here we are. Here's Jager. I always recommend the 4.16 carbine, of course, but he also does come with the shotgun, the M870. It's one of the highest damaging shotguns in the game at the moment, with a 60 base damage. You really should ignore the damage numbers, because they're not really reflective on what actually gets hit on people. But yeah, if you want, go with some kind of dot sight and stick with the laser. They always work really well, because you're going to be firing from the hip, and the shotgun is really good. It's pretty powerful. The main weapon, though, is going to be this 4.16 carbine. You throw on a holographic sight because it is the most precise reticle in the game. You can also throw on an ACOG if you wish. Always use compensators and always use grips if you don't know what to use. You could use a suppressor, but suppressors really aren't... they're not as key when you're defending, because it's all about the attackers staying hidden. Never use laser sights for the most part. You know, unless you're going to be firing from the hip, it gives you an accuracy bonus. The handgun is the P12. P12 is great. It's a 45 cal, 15 capacity. It's pretty damaging. It's a pretty good pistol. You don't really need laser sights on it. I always use that certain camouflage on my 45 caliber guns, just so I kind of know that I got that stopping power equipped. I do the same thing on my ump. Deployable shield, you can bring it with you, but you're most likely going to be a roamer, unless you already have a designated roamer. Then you might need to go on the defensive, but this is your job. You are meant to go around and take out the enemies, so take the barbed wire with you. His special ability is the ADS, which it throws out 2 projectiles that will intercept enemy grenades or other projectiles that will come. So when you start, you throw up 2 of your ADSs in rooms that you think will most benefit your team, and then you go up above, and then you reinforce the trapdoors. Because you have the speed to get up there. Now, I already had a couple of buddies that did that. The third ADS you're going to keep with you. If you have a shield, you can quite possibly put the shield down and put the ADS behind it, and then enemies will think that you're behind there, especially when they throw a grenade and they get zapped, then they assume there's a guy behind it. You can use that as a trap. But yeah, this thing will stop any kind of projectile. It stops 2 of them. But it does need line of sight, so you need to put it in spots in a room that are close to windows and doorways, but you also need to make sure that it doesn't get obstructed. And here's an example of the 4.16 and its engagement. It has a very controllable pattern. As you can see, it's pretty spot on. Not a whole lot. As long as you feather the trigger, you'll get good results out of the gun. You'll get some good headshots. And like I said, everyone else is using pistol ammunition for their main weapons. So you know, you are the only one that's using actual what do they call it? Intermediate cartridges. You use your razor wire. You're going to be putting those up in doorways and places where they need to walk by you. Then you go and hide, And when you start to hear the crunch of them stepping on your razor wire, then you go and attack. It also makes a sound if they destroy it. And, I mean, he's perfect. This is what this guy is made for. He's made for roaming the halls, doing damage to the enemy, getting them paranoid, making them think that they're always going to have you possibly, you know, jumping up behind them and attacking them. And, I mean, that's what he's good for. You can play aggressive, but don't be a martyr. Shoot at people outside the environments, like you see here. Get your damage on them. Get a kill, maybe two, but then retreat. You lose the advantage the moment that you die, and that's what happens to me here. I stick around, a guy throws a grenade, and I'm dead. And that's what you don't want. You don't want a 4-on-4. You know, you want it so that the enemy has a disadvantage right from the start. You know, you want to have... You know, it's almost better that they have two team members that are horribly wounded than having, you know, you get one kill and then them kill you. You know, you just have a better advantage. Here I luck out and I actually come across a number of enemy team members and I take out 3 of them. Jager is built for this. He has the speed, but he can't take a full frontal assault. Once it becomes a frontal assault, you know, once you get the attention of the enemy and they know where you're at, then suddenly it becomes a frontal assault, and then you need to move away. Because Jager is best at flanking or getting behind the enemy. I know that they're outside, so I jump out here. Yeah, I had a teammate that still wasn't even moving. But yeah, I mean, if you get one kill and you die, you lose your advantage. And shield guy already knows what I'm doing. My teammates aren't even really helping much, are they? I mean, see, like I said, I've got the speed. I can move. I know there's a guy over here, so I'm going to down him. And in this instance, I take a calculated risk and I go out to kill him because I know my teammates had already killed somebody else. So I knew it was going to be down to 4-on-1 if I went out there. So, you know, it was totally worth it for me because I figured, well, then it's 4v1, and you know that helps out my team. But yeah, I mean, this is Jager. His ability is a passive one, so as soon as you deploy it, you're meant to get out of the area. All you end up doing is being an extra hired gun if you stick around the objective. But hey, hope this helps you guys. Hope to plan on doing more of these. Thanks.